Coming live from the Tivoli Met Radio studio here on the Auraria campus, this is All Sports with Gerardo. Thank you for listening to All Sports through Met Radio on mymetmedia.com, live every Thursday from 3 to 4 p.m. This is your host Gerardo, and all I talk is sports. On the show today, I am going to talk about breaking news, MLB baseball, NFL football, and NBA. Before I start the show, I hope you all had a great week. To start off with some breaking news, CU beat New Hampshire 45-14. Right now, CU is in first place in the Pac-12 South. Last Sunday, the Denver Broncos come back to beat the Oakland Raiders 20-19. Once again, undrafted running back Philip Lindsay had a great performance, and he ran for 100. And just within the last day, Jimmy Butler is requesting a trade from the Minnesota Timberwolves before the season starts. Jimmy Butler is currently eyeing the Los Angeles Clippers and the New York Knicks as preferred trade destinations, but the Timberwolves have no interest in trading Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler's decision to request a trade from Minnesota has nothing to do with Karl Anthony Towns or Andrew Wiggins. It's mainly on his contract situation, with being the final year of his contract with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Dwayne Wade is resigning with the Miami Heat for his final season in the NBA. Dwayne Wade accepted the Heat's veteran minimum contract of over $2 million for this season. It's going to be Dwayne Wade's 16th season even though it took a while for Dwayne Wade to make his decision on returning back to the NBA or retiring from the NBA. I'm glad to see Dwayne Wade back. It's going to be his final season. He's had a great career with the Miami Heat. One last ride of Dwayne Wade, so you definitely got to watch Dwayne Wade in the Miami Heat play. It's going to be your last opportunity, so good luck to you, Dwayne Wade, and I can't wait for the upcoming NBA season. Moving on now to MLB baseball, I'm going to give you the current standings of the Major League Baseball postseason pitcher in both the American League and the National League. So to start off with the American League East, the Boston Red Sox only need to win one more game to win the American League East. Right now they're playing the New York Yankees in a very big matchup series. So the Red Sox were playing the Yankees last night. All they had to do was win the game to become division champions, but the Yankees didn't want that to happen on their field, so the Yankees beat the Red Sox last night. But if the Red Sox can win tonight, then they will clinch in the American League Central. The Cleveland Indians are going to clinch their division. In the American League West, the Houston Astros are leading this division. They only need to win 2 more games to become American League West champions. But the Oakland Athletics are 4 games back right now. In the American League wild card, in the first spot, the New York Yankees are leading it. Looks like they might win that spot, but they're definitely going to win one of the 2 spots. The Oakland Athletics are leading the second spot right now. And even though it's a long shot, there's still some baseball to be played. The Tampa Bay Rays and the Seattle Mariners still have a chance, but they do need to win out because they are sitting between 5.5 to 7 games back for that second wild card. Moving on now to the National League. In the National League East, the Atlanta Braves are leading this division. They need to win 3 more games to win the National League East. The Philadelphia Phillies still have a chance, even though they're sitting 5. In the National League Central, the Chicago Cubs are leading this division right now. It's still a pretty tight race, so the Milwaukee Brewers are 2.5 games back, and the St. Louis Cardinals are 5.5 games. In the National League West, the Los Angeles Dodgers are leading this division right now. The Colorado Rockies are 2.5 games back, and the Arizona Diamondbacks are now 6 games back. In the National League wild card, the Milwaukee Brewers are leading the first spot right now by 3 games. In the second spot is the St. Louis Cardinals, and there's about 4 teams fighting for one of the 2 wild card spots or for the second wild card spot. The Rockies are battling for the National League West right now, and also the wild card. They're sitting 1.5 games back behind the St. Louis Cardinals for the second. The Phillies are 5 games back. So are the Arizona Diamondbacks, and the Pittsburgh Pirates are 6 games back. So looking at the playoff picture for both the American League and the National League, the Red Sox are going to win the American League East. The Cleveland Indians are going to win the American League Central. It's looking like the Astros are going to win the American League West. The New York Yankees are going to hold on to the first wild card spot, and it looks like the Oakland Athletics will probably hold on to the second wild card spot. In the National League, it's looking like the Atlanta Braves are going to win the National League East. The National League Central still has some competition, but it looks like the Chicago Cubs will pull it out and win the National League Central. And in the National League West, it's looking like it's going to be between the Dodgers and the Rockies. They had a big series the last few days, and the Dodgers landed up sweeping the Colorado Rockies in Los Angeles, so it gave the Dodgers a lead in this division. Also, the Arizona Diamondbacks fell 6 games, but with the upcoming games, the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks look like they have the easiest schedule. The Rockies' schedule is kind of tough. They do play the Diamondbacks in Phoenix, and then they come back to Coors Field for the final homestand and play the Phillies and the Nationals, so it's not going to be as easy for the Rockies, but they still have a chance, so I'm hoping they can make it into the playoffs. It would be really nice to see them win. These teams just need to play better baseball and win some games, and next week this can be switched. It can look a lot different than it does this week compared to last week, and it looks like it's going to come down to the last game of the season, so we'll have to wait and see what happens there. In the National League wild card, the Milwaukee Brewers are leading the first spot right now. The St. Louis Cardinals are currently in the second spot, but that can change. The Rockies, the Phillies, the Diamondbacks, and even the Pirates have a chance of sliding into that second spot. So we'll just have to see what the postseason picture looks like. Moving on now, one thing to keep in mind, keep an eye on the National League West, and it's looking like it's going to be between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Colorado Rockies. Moving on now to NFL football. Antonio Brown doesn't want to be traded from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Antonio Brown was pissed off that the Steelers lost to the Kansas City Chiefs. The Steelers should trade Le'Veon Bell now, even though Le'Veon Bell is one of the most talented running backs in the NFL. The Steelers need to move on from Le'Veon Bell now because he has been holding out all off season and into the beginning of the regular season. It's also causing tension within the organization, and the Le'Veon Bell situation doesn't look like it's about money or a new contract. So the Pittsburgh Steelers are definitely a little bit interesting right now. They haven't been playing good football, so the players within the organization are upset that they haven't been winning these games. Also, another thing to keep in mind, with Le'Veon Bell holding out all off season and now into the third week of regular season football. The Steelers do need to make a decision because it looks like it's just going to be an ongoing thing, and it looks like it's not going to. What to watch for this week? Definitely the Pittsburgh Steelers. So right now I'm going to give you the final scores from the second week of regular season football. So to start off, we had the Baltimore Ravens versus the Cincinnati Bengals. The final score, the Bengals win 34-23. The Carolina Panthers versus the Atlanta Falcons. The final score, the Falcons win 31-24. The Indianapolis Colts versus the Washington Redskins. The final score, the Colts win 21-9. The Houston Texans versus the Tennessee Titans. The final score, the Titans win 20-17. The Philadelphia Eagles versus the Tampa Bay. The final score, the Buccaneers win 27-21. The Kansas City Chiefs versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. The final score, the Chiefs win 42-37. The Miami Dolphins versus the New York Jets. The final score, the Dolphins win 20-12. The Los Angeles Chargers versus the Buffalo Bills. The final score, the Chargers win 31-20. The Minnesota Vikings versus the Green Bay Packers. The final score, it landed up as a tie at 29. So this week we did have another tie, and it was between the Vikings and the Packers. And Aaron Rodgers did return back. The Cleveland Browns versus the New Orleans Saints. The final score, the Saints win 21-18. The Detroit Lions versus the San Francisco 49ers. The final score, the 49ers win 30-27. The Arizona Cardinals versus the Los Angeles Rams. The final score, the Rams win 34-0. The New England Patriots versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. The final score, the Jaguars win 31-20. The Oakland Raiders versus the Denver Broncos. The final score, the Broncos win 20-19. The New York Giants versus the Dallas Cowboys. The final score, the Cowboys win 20-13. And the Seattle Seahawks versus the Chicago Bears. The final score, the Bears win 24-17. So that's all the final scores from the second week of regular season football. The highlights from the second was definitely Patrick Mahomes, the quarterback from the Kansas City Chiefs. He's looking great right now. He's playing excellent football, and he's definitely looking like he's going to be the quarterback. Also, the Pittsburgh Steelers situation with Antonio Brown and the Le'Veon Bell situation happening right now. Also, Aaron Rodgers returned to the field. The game landed up at a tie at 29 against the Vikings, but we don't know how serious that knee injury is, so we'll have to wait and see what the status is on that knee injury, or if Aaron Rodgers is okay to play. The Jaguars did beat the Patriots this time around, and the Jaguars do look like they're going to be a better football team. The Denver Broncos winning at the end with a Brandon McManus field goal to seal the victory. Even though the game started out a bit rough, the Denver Broncos did come back to beat the Raiders. So now they're 2-0. Also, you got to watch out for Philip Lindsay. He's looking great. After his first two games, both games he's had over 100 yards, so he's looking like he's going to be the running back here in the Mile High City for the Denver Broncos, so I'm really looking forward to Philip Lindsay as well. Moving on now to the third week of regular season football, I'm going to tell you all the matchups and what teams play against each other. So tonight on Thursday Night Football, we got the New York Jets versus the Cleveland Browns. And on Sunday, we got the New Orleans Saints versus the Atlanta Falcons, the Green Bay Packers versus the Washington Redskins, the Indianapolis Colts versus the Philadelphia Eagles, the Buffalo Bills versus the Minnesota Vikings, the Oakland Raiders versus the Miami Dolphins, the Denver Broncos versus the Baltimore Ravens, the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Carolina Panthers, the New York Giants versus the Houston Texans, the Tennessee Titans versus the Jacksonville Jaguars, the San Francisco 49ers versus the Kansas City Chiefs, the Los Angeles Chargers versus the Los Angeles Rams, the Dallas Cowboys versus the Seattle Seahawks, the Chicago Bears versus the Arizona Cardinals, the New England Patriots versus the Detroit Lions, and on Monday Night Football, the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What to watch for this weekend? The third week of regular season football. Definitely watch out to see if the Cleveland Browns win their first game of the season, the status of Aaron Rodgers, the return of Carson Wentz, the Denver Broncos, Patrick Mahomes between the Los Angeles Chargers and the Los Angeles Rams, Khalil Mack on the Chicago Bears, and the Pittsburgh Steelers situation. So to end the show, what to watch for this week, what's happening in Major League Baseball and in the race to the postseason for all contending teams. Keep an eye on the National League West. The Broncos play their next game against the Baltimore Ravens this Sunday. The third week of regular season football. And definitely tune in and watch whatever games that you can, because they're all great games. They're definitely interesting to see. Baseball is becoming very exciting. It's coming up to 2.5 weeks left in the regular season. We're about to see some great baseball and see what teams are going to make it into the playoffs. So definitely tune into the baseball games in the Colorado Rockies, because it's becoming very exciting to see if they're going to make it into the playoffs. I hope you all have a great weekend. And I want to say thank you to everybody that listens to All Sports through Met Radio here on mymetmedia.com. Until next time, this is Gerardo.